take it by ear, you know.
But the end goal is to like become like Jiro. Is that like the end goal
For me, I want to open up my own like style restaurant that can cater to everybody. I don't want to be I want to have the skills of a 3-star chef, but I don't want to have the atmosphere of a 3-star Michelin restaurant. I want to be able to make incredibly delicious food that everyone can afford to eat. So that's like my end goal. It might not even be a restaurant. I could just open up get a huge industrial housing complex or whatever and just have like a, what are the pop-up? Like I'll just do pop-ups, you know, be like, hey guys, I got this bomb fish from the market, come by. Like I'll set a date, everyone can just come in, drop some money, and then you're good to go. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've seen some concepts pop up where it's like a bento box, but in like a cardboard box. I don't know if they're like chains, but I haven't tried them. But I'm really intrigued by that. It's like more affordable, but it's still really nicely presented.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you tried any of those spots?
No, I've seen them in LA. I follow these food pages on TikTok, and they're telling me, oh, there's one spot in LA, Orange County, you need to go try with these bomb bento boxes with the freshest fish. I'm like, dude, that's smart. Like I need to go and like check that out because like I come from. Like I'm a first generation Korean American. I know like the struggle my parents went through to get a restaurant opened up and all that. And I've been in like fancy restaurants to see the stress level of maintaining that high quality food, which is great. But at the same time, I don't know personally for me yet that I could consistently provide that high level. Whereas like I know what good food tastes like for everybody, and I just want to provide for everybody, not just the elite exclusive, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally get it. So for you, I'm just kind of reading between the lines here. Yeah. Is it like you're just trying to create a lifestyle where you're providing a service to your customers, which around something you love, which is food, and it's more about that environment that's enjoyable for your customers as well as yourself, and that just happens to be a little less serious, but it's still really good tasting food.
Exactly. It's just like, hey, you guys want 3-star food for half or for a tenth of the price? I got you. You know what I mean? I know the labor behind it. The labor behind it is so minuscule. There are some dishes, however, that like take like 5 days to prepare an ingredient, which obviously I would price differently per dish. I'm not like saying the whole menu is going to be exclusively like high priced. It'd be like certain like dishes be like, yo, this one's going to be a little bit more pricey because like this one took a little bit more time to prepare. Because like that way I know, it's just I know like the back end and the front end, you know? So, yeah.
Yep. So I, this podcast and our business as a whole is centered around joy and helping people find joy more frequently in their life. When I personally think about it, and I talked about it with other people, I kind of describe it as like an athlete who's in the zone. If you've ever played a competitive sport, I'm sure you can relate to this, where it's just the game slows down for a second and you just feel like you're in control of everything around you in the game that you're within.
Yep.
It's kind of like being in the flow.
Yep.
I remember one of your videos where you're talking about, man, when I'm breaking down a fish, it's like I got music on, fish in front of me, knife in my hand, and it's just like I'm flowing. Does that kind of give you that same sensation that I was just describing?
Yeah, I mean, not just when I'm breaking down a fish. Let's say it's a bumping night inside the restaurant, but pre-COVID, it was just packed, line out the door, like 2-hour wait. I was in the zone at those moments. I'm like, I know exactly how to make all these rolls. Get out of my way. You are slowing me down if you're going to be in my way. And like, I work in tight spaces too, so I know how to like maneuver myself around people when it's bumping. And like, yeah, when I'm in that zone, dude, it's just second nature. I just like move. I don't talk to people sometimes. I'm like, don't look at me. I'm in the zone. Some customers pointed out, it's like, hey, we want to talk to you. I'm like, I can't talk right now. I'm working. Like, it was a good time though.
Yeah.
It was a good time though.
And it's just like 8 hours becomes like, it feels like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, honestly, there are times when I'm in the restaurant for 14 hours and I'm like, oh, that was it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. You know, it's like when you're busy, like there are times where I forgot to eat. You know, like you're so focused on your job that you forget to eat, you forget to drink. You know, it's like I remember there was that 14-hour shift of like, oh my God, I only had miso soup today. I haven't had a meal. So I'm just like, yeah, it's just, I love it. You know what I mean? When you're so focused and disciplined in a job where you forget to eat, you know you love the job. That's just me. Yeah.
Is it something that you have to like try to recreate, or is it just something that naturally happens when you just get going?
At this point for me, it's natural. You know, like back when I was younger, like when it was a bumping night at my family's restaurant that I worked at, I would have to find a way to like motivate myself to be like, okay, I don't want my dad yelling at me. I don't want my dad yelling at me. So like that was like my focus back in the day, because when I messed up at the restaurant, he would yell at me there. We would come home, and then he would yell at me some more about the same mistake. You know what I mean? So that's why working for family is so tough. But at the same time, I'm very grateful for that, because now I'm on top of my stuff as much as I can. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm more like focused to be like, okay, there's a complaint. I'm gonna make sure I never do that again. You know? So I established a very good disciplinary system for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm sure you're probably harder on yourself than anyone possibly could be.
Definitely. That's why I'm not really good at taking compliments. Like, I'm like, so like, if I don't feel satisfied about it, then no matter what anyone else says, it's like, okay, like I got to be happy about the end product, you know? Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
It's like when I send out a dish, I'd be like, oh, I could have made it look a little bit better. I could have angled it better. I could have like, it's like all those minute details that could make the biggest change in my eyes. I'm like, oh, now it's perfect. There you go. So, yeah.
So how often do you kind of have like a shitty day at the restaurant, or are those few and far between now?
Oh man, the only bad day is when I have like a really ignorant like person come up to or complain about some roll that another chef made, and they think it's me or something, you know. And I'm like, dude, it's not me. I didn't make that roll. And B, you're freaking out over the smallest thing right now. So it's just like, it depends on the person. And there's some coworkers I have that are just super ignorant too. I'm like, dude, you're just here to make a paycheck. This is my career. Can you please take this job seriously? You know what I mean? So those kind of people ruin my day. It's like, okay, if you're here just to mess around, then get away from me. Like, I'm here to be serious about my job. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure that's why you make sushi at such a high level.
Yeah.